Hi everyone, welcome to Yin Yoga, gentle movement and restorative yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. So have at least 2 yoga blocks, a strap and a blanket, and then add on a pillow or few, and let's begin in a comfortable seat. You might even like to elevate your pelvis on one of your props like your folded blanket, just helping to sit up a little taller and to balance your weight throughout your left and right sitting bones. Getting situated, allow your spine to lift up, your shoulders to roll back and down, and then lift up through the back of your skull. Let your collarbones broaden by drawing the front of your shoulder head slightly back, and then further pressing the shoulder blades down the back. And then rest your hands where it helps you to connect your mind, your body, your breath, your spirit, as you start to pay attention to those different layers. Just letting your body breathe naturally as we start. Noticing what information your breath pattern is giving you of your mental, emotional state. So today I'd like to quote Krishnamurti, philosopher who wrote the book Meditations, among many other books. He says, meditation means awareness, to be aware of what you are doing, what you are thinking, what you are feeling, aware without any choice, to observe, to learn. Meditation is to be aware of one's conditioning, how one is conditioned by the society in which one lives, in which one has been brought up, by the religious propaganda, aware without any choice, without distortion, without wishing it were different. Out of this awareness comes attention, the capacity to be completely attentive. Then there's freedom to see things as they actually are, without distortion. This is the yogic practice of vidya, true knowledge, cultivating clear perception, being able to see our own narratives for what they are, narratives of how we perceive all that goes on around us, what he said, she said, what they're doing, what I'm doing. And so we begin by opening up our bodies, creating flexibility physically as we pay more attention to our breath, bodies, and minds throughout that process in asana yoga. So then later, we can slow things down even more, become still, and bring that same fine-tuned attentiveness to our mind as we sit in meditation at the end. So let's begin the practice. Maybe join your palms to meet at your heart. Clarify your intention for being here right now. And maybe call to mind someone or a group of someones that you might dedicate this practice to today. And let's take a deeper breath, slowing it down, filling up to the top of that inhalation. Through the mouth, emptying the breath. Feel free to make any sound if needed. A couple more times on your own. Maybe this time holding the breath in at the top for a few seconds, and even sipping in a little more breath before you empty it out through the mouth. Encouraging life force energy to flow more fluidly as you lengthen your breaths. And together, let's create resonance, beginning our practice with 3 chants of Om. Take a deep inhalation. in towards your heart space. And as you gently open your eyes, if they're closed, take a look at your legs. If you're sitting cross-legged, I invite you to switch the cross of the legs, other one forward or on top, just to get an even stretch in the hips. And we'll start with some movement sitting here before we begin some pranayama. So inhale, raise your arms overhead, hooking your thumbs. Exhale, peel your upper arms behind the ears as you comfortably can. Plug the shoulders down and then lift your chest. Hug in the bottom of your front ribs. Take another deep inhale, lifting your sternum as you gently gaze up. As you exhale, open your arms wide apart and twist to your left, lowering your hands wherever they'll land comfortably. The right hand might press against the outer left thigh or settle into the center of your lap. Take a few breaths here, plugging your pelvis downward. Lift up through the center of your spine. Breathe in. Drawing your shoulders downward. Exhale, continue to turn your chest. Let's take another 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, raise your arms overhead, facing forward. Switch the hook of the thumb on top. Roll your shoulder heads back and down, and then begin to coil the chest up again. Seal the bottom of your front ribs towards your back. And then lifting your heart, soften your eyes as you look up, taking another breath. Then exhale, open your arms wide and twist to your right. Lower your hands. Left hand might land at the middle of your lap or press against your outer right thigh. Take a deep breath in, press downward as you lift upward. Then exhale, keep turning your chest in the same direction. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And then as you breathe out, unwind your spine and bring the soles of your feet together to touch, preparing for a forward fold known as Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So take hold of your big toes and again, press down into what you're sitting on. Lift up through the back of your skull and your chest. Breathe in. And then start to hinge forward from your hips just a little bit as you breathe out. We're going to take about 5 breaths to explore the range here. Inhale, press the pelvis down some more. Lift the spine from it. Exhale, folding a little more if possible. Maybe walk the hands forward. Now keep open the space between your chin and your chest, honoring the breath flow at your throat. And slightly engage your abdomen towards your back, giving your lower back support. About 2 more breaths here in Baddha Konasana, or bound angle pose. On your next inhale, walk your hands towards you, lift with your chest, and then come all the way up. So, if your knees are okay with it, I invite you to grab a prop like a pillow or a block, and let's sit in supported hero's pose, Virasana. You might want 2 blocks. So as you place your shins on the floor, place that prop right between your ankles and point your toes back. Bring your knees no wider apart than your hips distance. Take a moment to place your hands on your rib cage so you're holding the lowest part of your ribs. Press your pelvis down, lift your rib cage, especially your back ribs. Go ahead and shrug the shoulders too to feel that accentuated lift. So the 2 forces of pressing the pelvis down and lifting the rib cage. So you're actually stretching the lowest part of your torso. You're stretching the lower back, drawing the belly in, keep breathing. And then roll the shoulders back, keep lifting the rib cage, and now relax the hands down. So we're going to practice Durga Pranayama, or 3-part breathing, as you visualize your torso as if it were a jar. So at the very bottom of that jar is your pelvic floor, and at the very top of that jar is the base of your skull around your neck. Dividing that jar into 3 cross sections, the lowest cross section of the first part will be all around the lower belly, lower back, below your belly button. The second cross section, or the mid part of that torso, is going to be most of your rib cage all the way around. And the third, or the uppermost part, is going to be around your chest, your neck and shoulders, your armpits, your upper back, all the way around. So let's just feel each part separately. Place your hands on your lower belly and lower back. Focus on just breathing into that lowest part of your torso, down to the pelvic floor. Hold the breath for a few seconds. Closing the lips, gently exhale. Feel the belly soften towards the lower back. And then relax there. Now hold on to your rib cage, the left and right walls. Take a deep in breath and allow the muscles between your ribs to stretch. Hold the breath in at the top. Then through your nose, empty the breath. Feeling the difference. And now let's place the hands both on the chest, the top of your chest. Breathe into all around, even around the shoulder blades. Hold the breath in, relax the shoulders. Then exhale slowly through your nose. Then relax your breathing. Now that we've delineated the three parts, you may like to place your left hand on your chest, identifying the uppermost part, and the right hand on your lower belly, identifying the lowest part. So we're going to inhale 1/3 into the lowest part, pause. Inhale 1/3 into the mid part, pause. And then inhale the last third to the uppermost, holding the breath for a few seconds, keeping the body relaxed and sitting tall. Then we'll exhale everything out through the nose and hold the breath out for a few seconds. And that's one cycle. Let's try 2 cycles together and 2 cycles on your own. So sit up tall, relax the shoulders, empty this breath, mouth closed. Hold the breath for a moment. Now into the lowest part of your torso, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the mid part, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the uppermost, inhale 1/3. Hold the breath in, relax and observe. Exhale slowly everything out. Hold the breath out. That's one cycle. One more cycle together. Inhale 1/3. Pause. Inhale, second third. Pause. Inhale, last third. Hold the breath in. Exhale everything slowly. Hold the breath out. Continue 2 more cycles of 3-part breathing, or Durga Pranayama. Take your time to finish at your own pace without rushing. When you've finished holding the breath out after your second cycle on your own, then remove the pauses between the breaths and start to inhale into all 3 parts. Exhale just as slowly through the nose, feeling the fullness of your inhalation and the equal length of the exhalation. Start to create a gentle sound by softly narrowing the back of your throat. Let this whisper serve as an anchor for your mind to connect to your body and to your breath in the present moment. So keep your breath rhythm going and try to listen to it as much as you can through most of this physical practice. Now we're going to start to move a bit to warm up the body into longer holds. So as you release the hands, let's come down onto all fours. We'll begin in Bitalasana or cat-cow. So set your hands on the ground flat, stack your shoulders over your wrists. Step your knees a couple inches behind your hips. And as you inhale, glide your chest forward, roll your shoulders behind you, look up, lift your tailbone, cow pose. As you exhale, press down with your hands, lifting your belly inward, drop your head, tuck the tailbone, round into cat pose. Several more times. Inhale, gliding your chest forward, roll the shoulder heads down. Exhale, contracting your belly, dome your back. And keep going on your own for at least 5 more slow cycles of breath. And when you finish the round that you're on, relax to a neutral spine, and please take your blocks. Place them on their second level height, their medium height, in front of you like a number 11. So they are about your shoulders distance apart, maybe a little wider. And then we're gonna rest the forearms onto those blocks. So the wrists are just relaxed, the palms just fall forward. And then bring your knees maybe just about underneath your hips, feet together to touch, coming into child's pose. So let your pelvis pull back and down towards your heels. Then drop your head. Maybe you're resting it on the mat, or maybe you're placing a blanket underneath your forehead if that's more comfortable. And then take a moment to rotate the outer sides of your upper arms towards the ground as if you were flipping your palms to face up. But do the rotation not from your wrists, but from your shoulder sockets, so that you can broaden the space across your shoulders. And then send your shoulders down your back, lengthening your neck. And now listen to your breath here for 10 cycles. Pay attention to your breathing. Slow the breath down. And notice how that affects your mind state. About 2 more breaths here in Balasana, or child's pose. Then gently begin to roll up. Move the blocks aside. Actually, let's actually use the blocks one more time. So set the blocks on their tallest height this time. Separate them wider apart than your hips distance. Step your right foot on the inner side of the right block and tuck your back toes to lift the knee off the floor. Come into a high lunge. We'll loosen up our lower body a bit here. Making sure your right knee is bent directly on top of your right heel. And your two hips are squared or both hip bones are facing forward evenly. As you take a deep inhale, let the shoulders relax down your back, pelvis sink. Keep your feet where they are, and as you exhale, begin to straighten your right leg comfortably to your degree by scissoring your right outer hip back. Bow forward with a flat back. So if your back starts to round, don't bow that deeply. Then inhale, bend the front knee again, back to a lunge. And exhale, scissor the right hip back again. Forward fold, pyramid pose. 3 more breaths like this. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Return to your lunge, set the left knee on the ground, step the right knee back, and let's switch, stepping the left foot on the inner side of the left block. Tuck your right toes and lift the back knee into a high lunge. Front knee is bending right on top of the heel. Take a deep breath. Let your pelvis sink if it will. Exhale to your degree, straighten the left leg by scissoring the outer hip back as you bow from your hips with a flat back. Then inhale, back to a lunge. Keep your feet where they are. Exhale, straighten and fold. Pyramid pose. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, lunge. And exhale, pyramid pose. This time, return to your lunge and look forward. Take a deep breath. Exhale, step forward so that your feet are hips width or wider apart and parallel to each other. Place the blocks in front of your feet. Plant your fingertips on the blocks. Bend your knees as much as you need so that as you breathe in, you can stretch the top of your head towards your front wall, rising into a flat back that is parallel to the floor. Then as you exhale, bow towards your legs, keep the knees bent. Drop the arms, then inhale, roll up, slowly lifting your head last. Rolling the shoulders behind you and softening them down, turn your palms to face forward as you stand tall in Tadasana or mountain pose. Take a deep in breath and sweep your arms overhead, taking hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Press the left foot down and exhale. Lift the spine, then side bend to your right for 3 breaths. Inhale, stretch the spine further up. Exhale, keep side bending to the right, shoulders moving down the back. 2 more breaths. Hugging in the front ribs. Inhale, rise up to center and switch hands. Hold on to your right wrist. Exhale, lift the spine, then side bend to the left. Let your right foot feel heavier. Inhale, lift the spine where it is. Exhale, continue to side bend to the left. 2 more breaths. Relax the shoulders down, make room for your neck. Inhale, rise up. Open the arms wide. Exhale, bend your knees and fold over your legs. Press your fingertips on the blocks. Inhale, press your heart through the gates of your arms so the shoulders slide back as the crown reaches forward. Exhale, bow over your legs and bend the knees generously. Relax the arms. Inhale, roll up slowly as if stacking 1 vertebra at a time. Rotating your shoulders back and down, flip the palms to face forward. Tadasana again. Let's take that 1 more round. Inhale, circle your arms. Hold on to your left wrist with the right hand. Plug the shoulders down. Exhale, lift the spine and side bend to the right. 3 more breaths here. Feel your tailbone as though it were a heavy anchor, reaching for the earth right between your heels. On your next inhale, rise up to center and switch hands, holding your right wrist. Shoulders down, crown lifted. Exhale to your left, side bend. 3 more breaths to the left. Keep your 2 frontal hip bones evenly facing forward. Inhale, rise up to center. Open your arms apart. Bend your knees. Exhale, fold over your legs. Press your fingertips on the blocks again. Inhale, press your heart through the gates of your arms to a flat back, hugging in the front ribs. This time, place the left block front and center. Use the right block to stack over the lowest part of your lower back, right across it, keeping your 2 hips leveled. Begin to turn your chest to the right as you keep that block stable on your lower back, raising your right arm towards the sky. 3 breaths. As you breathe in, keep stretching your spine forward and peeling your shoulder blades down your back. Hug in the belly, keep the pelvis still. Exhale, continue to rotate your chest to face the right wall, reaching up to your right fingertips to encourage the front of your right shoulder to open up. 1 more deep breath here. Replace your left hand with the right hand. Keep the 2 hips leveled. Inhale, stretch the top of your head forward. Hug in the front ribs. Stabilize the lower back. Exhale, turn your chest to the left and begin to raise your left arm. 3 breaths. Peel the shoulders away from your neck. Feel the reach up through your left hand, encouraging the left collarbone to stretch wide from the sternum. 1 more deep breath. Remove the block from your lower back and place your 2 hands on the 2 blocks again. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Exhale, forward fold. And this time, place the blocks alongside your feet, bend your knees, and come down to sit. Let's take one of the blocks with you as you lie down onto your back. Bring the strap, place it over to one side beside you. And then as you're lying on your back, bend your knees. Press your feet into the floor to lift your pelvis off the ground. Take that block and place it right underneath the flat part of your lower back, which is your sacrum. Start with a block on the lowest height, and then you might want to change it to a higher level after you know what we're doing. So make sure that the block is stably and comfortably supporting you. Then bend your right knee into your chest. Take hold of your right thigh or your right shin with both hands. Keeping your 2 shoulders on the floor, lengthen the back of your neck. Breath by breath, hug the right thigh even closer to your chest. See how it feels to possibly straighten your left leg forward and flexing the left foot. Keep your left knee and toes face up towards the ceiling rather than turning out the left leg. So think of spiraling your inner left thigh towards the floor. Now you could keep the left knee slightly or a lot bent if that's more comfortable for you, but continue to hug the right leg closer as you breathe, visualizing your tailbone lengthen forward towards your inner left knee. Now, if you're feeling like you want to get a little deeper into stretching your left hip flexor in this position, you could tilt the block that's under your sacrum 1 level up or stack 2 blocks. Well, let's take another 10 breaths in this pose. Remember, if your left leg is straight, try not to roll it out. Keep the left knee pointing straight up. And then from here, bend your left knee, set your 2 feet on the ground again. And if you've tilted the block to a height higher than the starting point, you might want to bring it back down to the starting level. Let's move on to the second side. Bend your left knee into your chest, catch hold of your left thigh or shin, and see if it might be possible to straighten the right leg some degree forward, pressing the right heel into the earth as you flex the right foot. Keep pointing your right knee and toes upwards towards the ceiling rather than turning out your right leg. Check in with your breathing. So breath by breath as you keep your 2 shoulders grounded, bring your left leg closer to your chest. Spiral your inner right thigh towards the ground. Visualize reaching your tailbone forward towards your inner right knee. We've got about 7 more breaths in this position, this variation of Apanasana or wind relieving pose. If you did so on the first side and you think it might be possible here, you could tilt the block to a higher level or stack 2 blocks. And remember to keep rolling your inner right thigh towards the floor. Bending your right knee, step your right foot on the ground, step your left foot on the ground. Pause for a moment here. Notice the effects of those 2 postures. Then let's remove the prop from under your lower back so your pelvis lands on the floor. Take your strap and step the ball of your right foot into the strap, whether it's the loop of the strap or the middle of the strap without a loop. Flex your right foot into the strap as you extend the right leg upwards. Hold the strap in just your right hand. Now the right leg doesn't have to be completely straight as we begin, but do straighten your left leg forward on the ground. Flex the left foot too, and keep the knee pointing straight up like earlier. Plant your left palm on the very top of your left thigh, pressing it down so that you can feel the back of your left hip remain on the floor as you start to rotate your right thigh bone at the hip to turn out the leg. Pointing your right knee towards the right wall, begin to open the right leg slowly for 10 deep breaths. Supta Uttita Hasta Padangushtasana. Supine hand to big toe pose. Variation. If you start to feel that the back of your left hip is no longer in contact with the ground, then lift the right leg further from the floor and come back off a bit. One more breath here. Then slowly raise your right leg. Remove the strap and bend both knees, crisscrossing your right thigh as much as you can over your left thigh, as though your legs were making the letter X. Supine cow face pose. Supta Gomukhasana. Keep your tailbone and shoulders on the floor, and with your hands catch hold of your outer feet. If that's not reachable, catch hold of your outer shins. If that's not reachable, catch hold of the backs of your thighs. Continue to splay your feet wider apart as you bring your thighs closer to your belly for 10 more breaths. Keep your pelvis heavily rooted. One more deep breath here. Uncross your legs, step your right foot on the ground, and bend your left knee into your chest. Let's step the ball of your left foot into the strap. Extend your left leg upright and hold the strap with your left hand. Straighten your right leg on the floor and flex both of your feet. Plant your right palm on the top of your right thigh, grounding the back of your right hip and your two shoulders. Turn out your left thigh at the hip, then begin to open the left leg to the left side. 10 breaths. Keeping the back of your right hip in contact with the floor. Two more deep breaths here. And slowly lift your left leg, remove the strap, bend both knees, and crisscross your left thigh as much as you can over your right thigh. Splay the feet apart and catch hold of your outer feet, outer shins, or backs of your thighs. Ground your tailbone and shoulders. And for 10 more breaths, continue to splay the feet apart and bring your thighs towards your belly. Last 2 breaths here. And uncross your legs. Let's come into happy baby pose. Catching hold of your outer feet or outer shins. Parallel your feet to each other and turn your soles to face the sky. Root down your tailbone and shoulders. And for 10 more breaths, draw your bent knees towards the ground outside of your shoulders while splaying your feet wider apart. You could opt to rock side to side if you want to give your lower back a little massage. Last 2 deep breaths here. Then slide your hands to your outer thighs. Draw your knees together like you're closing a book. And then gently rock to one side or forward and back to rise up to sit. Let's prepare for a restorative spinal twist using a pillow, maybe more than one pillow, maybe your blocks too. So set up your pillow, tracing the midline of your mat towards the front edge of your mat, and place 1 or 2 blocks underneath the part of your pillow that's towards the front of your mat, furthest away from you. So you have an incline. Grab your blanket and other pillows and just set them aside where you can reach for them nearby, just in case. Then have a seat at the middle of your mat so that your right hip is flush against the bottom of that inclined pillow. Extend both legs to your left side towards your left wall. Then keep your right leg there. Slide your left leg down the midline of your mat towards the rear wall, creating a capital L shape out of your legs. And plant your 2 hands to frame the left and right sides of the pillow, turning your chest completely to face the pillow or the front of your mat. Adjust your pelvis and legs so that you can comfortably do so. You might shift the right hip slightly back away from the pillow. You might bend the knees. And once your chest is fully facing the front of your mat, draw the shoulders down and lengthen your spine. Then begin to lower your belly, your torso, your head onto the pillow. And you can adjust the height of the pillow as needed. If it needs to be lower or higher, or if you need to place a blanket underneath your belly or underneath your forehead so you can lie face down. Set it up so that you're comfortable for the next 20 breaths. Then as you arrive, start to count your breaths, slowing them down again. Let the shoulders relax down. Relax your fingers, relax your jaw. Giving your mind a task, such as counting 20 breaths. Use that as a strategy to be right here in the present moment. And when you finish counting 20 breaths, begin to slowly lift your torso off the pillow. Leave the props where they are. Take your time sitting up again, but facing away from the pillow towards the rear of your mat with both legs extended in front of you in Dandasana or stick pose. Allow a few breaths here to just let your spine unwind and to notice how your body feels. And keeping your right leg where it is, slide your left leg to your left side so that it's reaching towards your right wall. With this L shape in your legs, Turn to face the pillow, planting your hands to frame the left and right sides of it. As you turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat, adjust your legs as needed so that you can be comfortable. You might swivel the left hip slightly away from the pillow. You might bend the knees. Then begin to lower your belly, your torso, your head. Adjust the height of the pillow or the incline or the use of your blankets so that you can settle in comfortably and begin counting again 20 deep breaths. Take your time, and when you finish counting your 20 breaths, gradually begin to lift your torso upright. Then again, keep your pillow and props where they are. This time, turn to face the pillow, extending your legs to frame it on the left and right sides, like a narrow V shape. So notice if you might want a higher incline, a lower incline as we prepare for a seated forward fold. You might even elevate your pelvis on a folded blanket or take a moment to move the flesh aside from your sitting bones so that you can really root down through them. Point your knees and toes up, lift your rib cage, relax the shoulders back and down, and open your throat. Honor this natural space here for your breath. And as you take a deep breath, lift up through the center of your spine and crown. Keep the length of your spine as much as you can. And exhale, begin to fold forward. And then again, 20 breaths in this forward fold. When you finish counting your 20 slow breaths, and be gentle with yourself as you slowly transition upright to sit again. This time, let's set up for corpse pose. So you've got any tension in your lower back, or you just want to give it some extra relief, you can use that pillow and place it right underneath the backs of your knees, lying it across the mat. Let your feet just flop. You might roll the thighs inward and outward for a moment, and then just let the legs go. You want to support your back bend. We didn't really do very much of rolling the shoulders back. In restorative poses, you could roll up your blanket, make a little cylindrical pillow, and cross it underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. You can rest the arms overhead and hold opposite elbows, or you can bend the elbows apart like a cactus shape in the arms. Or find your own variation of setting your body up in a way that you can support it to rest in stillness for 5 minutes. And as you are arriving in your position for Shavasana, make any last gentle adjustments to your body, encouraging comfort and ease to be still. Close your eyes and allow the muscles around them to soften. Bring this energy of softening down through your face, your jaw, your neck, your ears, your shoulders. Allow your scalp to soften too. And as now you've released control of your breathing, allow every natural exhalation to be an invitation to sink even deeper into letting go, into letting be, as you continue to pay attention. Rest here for another moment. Just taking the time to keep paying attention to what you notice in your body, your breath, or your mind. Staying attentive as you feel ready, begin to move whatever part of your body wants to gently move first. Then ease into another movement, a simple stretch. You might gently turn over to your right side and rest your head for a moment. Before pressing the ground and lifting your torso upright, finding a way to sit so that you feel grounded, aware, and relaxed. Set your hands in a mudra that offers you the feeling tone that you would like to cultivate. Thumb and index fingers together for focus. Fingertips of each hand touching each other for a sense of connectedness and balance. And then either close your eyes or steady a soft gaze ahead. And let's begin our 5 minutes of observing what goes on in our minds, what we pay attention to, and what colors our perception. Notice the narratives. And gently bring your palms together at your heart, bowing in towards your heart space. Remember the intention you came to your practice with today and any dedication you made. What's one thing you can feel grateful for right now, this moment? And let's close the practice chanting that vibration of gratitude. One Om, take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.